For a second, can we just talk about how hard the prerequisites are to get into a nursing program? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Oh my gosh. I'm finally a nursing student. What the heck? Is this even real? Is this camera recording? Is she on? It's giving... Why are the prerequisites so hard in the first place? What's up guys? Welcome to my channel. I'm Theresa Deandrea, and in today's video I'm going to be discussing tips on taking nursing prerequisites. I had just got my acceptance letter into nursing school, and I'm very proud to say that I will be starting in May officially at my university as a nursing student. But let me tell you, the freaking journey of getting there has not been easy at all. No one talks about how strugglesome, is that even a word? No one talks about how difficult it is taking these nursing prerequisites and just getting into the program. Nursing school is another beast on its own. I've seen videos, I have friends who have been there, done that, got the t-shirt, it's in their closet. Okay, but I am here just to, one, speak on my experience, help give advice for students who are currently going through that or looking to go into nursing someday and they're just starting, and just hopefully give some encouragement and let you know that it is going to be okay. So if you guys want tips on taking nursing prerequisite classes, these are some of the tips that I came up with as someone who literally just finished a semester ago and has finally got accepted into her dream nursing program. But first, please like this video for more content like it, subscribe for more videos, and let's get right into it. So the first tip that I have is to meet with your counselor often. Your counselor is going to be your best friend. And as someone who has taken a break from school for multiple years and recently gone back to go ahead and see it all the way through, I had to find the counselor for me. I'm sure I'm not the only student who has had horror stories with counselors who just seemed like they did not care, who were very unempathetic, who seemed like they hated their job, and probably told you to pick a different major simply based off of your past transcripts or past grades or things you went through in the past. I have been there, done that, and it took me going through a few counselors to figure out which one believed in me, which one gave me a plan to succeed, and which one is now considered my home girl. I love her down, okay? So I know that everybody sometimes doesn't get to pick which counselor they want to see, but once you do find that counselor, try and stick with them. Schedule your appointments ahead of time because sometimes they get booked up. I know with my counselor, she's pretty popular, so sometimes I have to book my appointments month or 2 months in advance just so that I can make sure that I see her. Because I will say it does make a difference who you sit with, because again, not all counselors love their job. Not all counselors are going to encourage you. Not all counselors are looking out for your best interest at heart, which sucks to say, but it is true, and I have seen it, I have experienced it, and once I found who my counselor was that believed in me, that literally sat me down and was like, listen, nothing that you did in the past matters. We're going to move forward. We're going to see what we can do to get you into this program. You had a rough couple years, but you're back now. I can tell you're dedicated. Let's see what we can do. Let's get you started. And that was really my motivation, my inspiration. I needed to know that someone at my school, someone at my university was looking out for me and had my back. But when you're taking your nursing prerequisites, you need to make sure that you are meeting with your counselor often to make sure you're on track, to see what your other options are, to see if you can take classes elsewhere, to see what will transfer over, any resources that they could provide for you to be better in a class. I'm gonna just let you know right now, you need to be like this with your counselor, because they are literally going to help you succeed into getting into the nursing program. My next tip would be to figure out your study technique. When you're taking your nursing prerequisites, this is the time to figure out how to study. This is the time you want to learn if you are a visual learner, if you are an auditorial learner, if you are a hands-on learner. When I was taking my prerequisites, I learned that I am very much good at taking notes, and I need to physically write down almost everything for it to be, one, embedded into my brain, and that I'm also good at memorizing things when I take a lot of practice tests. That's what helped me get an A in anatomy too. This is things that helped me to really get good grades. Once I finally figured out how I learned as a person, or what my study techniques were, it was a game changer. This was how I literally was able to pass all of my prerequisites the first time. I did not have to retake any classes. The only classes that I had to retake was my math class, but that was because when I went back to school, the math that I previously took was no longer the minimum requirement. They had bumped it up to a higher math. So I had to retake a math class because I was now under a new catalog, which was totally fine, although I absolutely hate math. But as far as my anatomy and physiology, microbiology, chemistry, all of my nursing prerequisites, like my sciences, I did not have to retake. And that was all because I may have struggled in the beginning of the semesters, like when these classes first started. But once I figured out my study technique, I was on a roll. I was pushing out A's and B's on my tests, exams, quizzes. I was turning in my things on time. And I really just figured out what worked best for me. So the next tip I have is to try and get the highest grade possible. I know you guys hear it all the time. You have to get A's. You have to get straight A's in all your prerequisite classes or you're not getting in. That is not true. That was not my story. That was not true. I've heard it even from previous students who went through the same university and program that I am currently enrolled in, and that is just not necessarily true. Yes, I always strive to get the highest grade, and if I could do it again, I would have probably studied a little bit more, probably retaken some classes if I had to, but I am living proof today that you do not need straight A's to get into a nursing program. What you do need though is the determination, the ambition, and the will to push through your classes and try and get the best grade that you can the first time around. But I'm also here to tell you, do not beat yourself up if you do not get an A in one of your prerequisite classes, because when it came down to it, I had 3 B's on my application. I'm just being honest. There was times where I was like, okay, I may need to retake possibly a class or 2, but I trusted God and I knew this is really what I wanted. If that was something that I had to do, then I was going to do it. But clearly it wasn't. I still got in. It was very scary during the application process, not knowing if you're gonna get in or not. Obviously, if you have straight A's, you have a higher chance of getting in, although that also doesn't guarantee you a spot in every nursing program. But just know that it's gonna be okay. But I want you to please study to try and get the highest grade possible. Like, you think that studying sucks? Try retaking a class all over again and then being held back a semester because you were just, what, unmotivated and you didn't want to study? Pardon? So you want to retake the whole class again? You better study. You need to study. You need to get that good grade, because I promise you there's nothing like having to drop more money on a class you already took before, and then it's holding you back from applying to the program, which is holding you back a semester, which is holding you back from graduation. Like, it's really, you think about it, like, it's not worth. Just study, put that work in, and get the highest grade that you possibly can. Again, I am telling you though, it is not the end of the world if you get a B. Okay, it's not. So the next tip I have, kind of piggybacking off of what we just talked about, is retaking classes. Now, for me, I would only do this if you necessarily have to. Like, if you got a C or a D in a class, come on. Now, we know we probably are gonna have to retake that. Honestly, my program required a B or higher to get in. Not a B minus, a B or higher. So there was no C's allowed in any science or math classes. When I originally went back to my university, we only had 2 attempts to get that B or higher in these classes. So anatomy, microbiology, and math, and nutrition, which was considered Nurse 299 at my university. We had only 2 chances to get a B or higher in those classes. Again, sit with your counselor, see what your requirements are, see how many times you're able to take classes, because that does count. If you only have 2 attempts or 3 attempts to take a class, I'm gonna tell you right now, you need to prioritize that class and make sure that you're getting A's and B's on those tests and quizzes, because you don't want to be retaking those classes, and each time you retake it, you're being penalized for points that could possibly help you get into the program. Again, apply, like, if you meet the requirements, if you have all the requirements to get into your program, apply. The worst thing that could happen is them saying no. But it's not the end of the world. You could still reapply another semester after you see what you were lacking on your application or what you could have done better. So I would really only retake your classes if you know you necessarily have to, if your counselor is recommending it, if you did not get that C or higher, B or higher, or whatever is required for you to get into your nursing program at your school, then I would retake the class. But if you did get that minimum requirement, do your best in every other class moving forward. Again, try to shoot for your highest grade, but just know it's not the end of the world if you got the minimum grade required, okay? Because again, you do not need straight A's to get into nursing school, okay? I promise you, you don't. You don't want to just go in getting all B's either, but just know that it's very much possible to, let's say, get a couple B's and the rest are A's, and you could still definitely get into your nursing program. So the next tip that I have is to see if you could possibly take classes elsewhere. So what I mean by this, like, let's say for example at your university, microbiology is a really hard class. Many students who take it the first time fail. It's just one of those classes that it takes God's will, okay, and power to get you through. For me, it was chemistry. Like, I, for the life of me, just could not get down with how my specific professor was teaching it. It was very hard to understand it. And then on top of that, there was nothing uploaded online for me to go back and study when I got home. So I'm just like, I'm not grasping anything in class because you're going super fast. And then when I get home, I don't have nothing to reference because you're not uploading anything. My counselor recommended me taking microbiology and chemistry at a different university, which was an online university. And she recommended this because she had a lot of experience with students taking these hard courses and failing them the first time around, but when they would go and take it elsewhere where it was a little bit less competitive and a little bit more where teachers are focused on their students, they were able to succeed in that class. And so I took her advice, I enrolled, I got an A my first time doing it, and it transferred right over to my transcript and my record at my university. And I think that a lot of students think that they have to take all their prerequisites at their university, or they're just really loyal to their school, they don't want to go anywhere else. Listen, you gotta do what you gotta do. At the end of the day, we're all gonna be a nurse. We're all gonna have an RN license. We're all gonna have to take the NCLEX. We just need to get in. So if you have to take that prerequisite class somewhere else where it's a little bit more manageable, a little bit more accessible because it's online, or it works with your schedule better, do it. The prerequisite courses are not easy. I'ma keep on saying that. These classes are not easy. Anatomy alone, loved it, was definitely my favorite prerequisite. A beast. Okay, I still have a callus on my hand from all the notes I took from anatomy. Okay, so let's just talk about it. But again, it was my favorite prerequisite. I personally had no issues with anatomy, but they are hard classes. You're gonna have to put in the work regardless of what nursing prerequisite class you take, especially because you're gonna need that grade, that good grade, to get into that program. Also, another trick that a lot of counselors don't really tell students, but they use it, there's a website called Transferology, and you can literally type in your university and the class that you need to take at your university, and then see what matches at other universities for that exact same class. So for example, let's say you go to the University of Alabama and you need to take Anatomy 1. You can put in Anatomy, whatever it's called at your school, and then you can click search. It will literally show you a list of matches of schools where they have that same exact course that will transfer over to your university. And of course, you want to do this with your counselor to make sure that this is accurate and that this will transfer over. But at least you'll go in there with some idea of, okay, I saw that I could take this at this online college, or I could take this here. Can I confirm that this will transfer over? And your counselor will let you know yes or no. That was a game changer for me. Ever since then, I made sure that any class that I took at another university or another college, online or whatever, transferred over to my university that I'm at. It's called Transferology. I will leave the link in the bio if you want to try taking prerequisites elsewhere to get that A, to get that higher grade. Do it, because at the end of the day, we're all just trying to get in, and we are going to be putting in the work regardless. So we need to just focus on getting the best grade possible, even if that means you have to take your prerequisites somewhere else. My next tip would be to start to prepare for these entry exams. I'm not gonna lie, I lucked out with my university, they got rid of the HESI. Thank the Lord. Their whole logic behind it was because they saw no equivalency in students who got good scores on the HESI to students who passed the NCLEX. And they're going for a more holistic approach, which I think is amazing. So they got rid of the HESI, but while I was taking my prerequisites before, and when I went back to school, the HESI was required. And I was already mentally prepared to buy books, to pay for tutors, to go online, and study my butt off to get a high score on the HESI exam. But I do know that a lot of schools and universities still require students to take the HESI or TEAS. So make sure, once again, work with your counselor, figure out what is required for you to get into your nursing program at your university or college, and be prepared. Do not wait to the last minute to take your TEAS. Do not wait to the last minute to take the HESI. Be prepared. If you have a summer off and you're still taking prerequisites, study. Again, work with your counselor. Make sure you're aware of how many attempts you have to take it before you're rejected or accepted into the program. But it's never too late to start studying and preparing yourself. Honestly, I would give myself 1 month to just study my butt off for the TEAS or the HESI exam, and then immediately take it right after. After that, or studying any longer than that, you're going to start losing information. You're going to start forgetting things. Honestly, 2 weeks to 4 weeks of studying is enough to feel prepared if you're putting in the work. So again, if you're taking prerequisites, start thinking about how you want to study, how you want to prepare for these entry exams, and figure out what score you need to get on the entry exams before applying to get into your nursing program. I think before they got rid of ours was like a passing score of 70 something. I could be wrong. I don't know. I didn't have to take it. Again, all glory to God. But again, work with your counselor. Ask her or him, what score do you need? What do I need to take? Is it the TEAS? Is it the HESI? They're like one and the same almost. And just see what you have to do to prepare yourself for those exams. All right. And the last and final tip that I have is to honestly don't rush. Enjoy the journey while you work hard. Okay. When I tell you these past 2 years have flown by, I can't even tell you. I can't even explain how fast these 2 years of me going back to school and taking my prerequisites over again has flown by. I initially went back to school in 2023 and I went full time. I was taking like 16, 17 credit. I made Dean's List the first time I went back. Like, I went straight in knowing that this is what I wanted to do. I was tired of feeling like I wasn't smart enough, feeling inadequate, feeling like I didn't level up or that I couldn't do it. Everybody was telling me how hard my school's nursing program is, how people got rejected multiple times. Like, I let fear literally keep me from going after my dream for so many years. And when I finally decided, no, I am smart enough, I can do it, and on second thought, I will do it. And I did, and I'm here, and I'm accepted, and I start in May. So I just really want to, if I could give any advice to you guys that are taking prerequisites, it's gonna be okay. A B is not gonna kill you. Getting straight A's is not always necessary to get into a nursing program, and you are going to succeed. If you have to retake classes, retake them. If you have to reapply to the program, reapply. It's gonna be okay. I have cried many nights, many tears up until this point of getting in, and the journey is not over. I still have to go through the program, and I'm so grateful that I can even say that. But just know that your life is going to fly by regardless. Okay, you're gonna wake up and be 24 and be 26 and be 30 and be 35 and be 40, whether you take these classes or not. So do what you gotta do. Either you want to be that age with a BSN, RN behind your name or not. Either you're going to be 4 years later with a degree behind your name or not. I'm just saying. Okay, you can do it. I believe in you. Trust me, if I can do it, you can do it. You are going to have to put in that work. There's no way around that. You can't cheat your way through nursing school or the prerequisites. I'm gonna just say that. Maybe some sociology 101. But that anatomy, baby, you're gonna have to know what you're talking about. You're gonna have to know what you're doing. And you don't want to cheat your way through stuff like that anyway. You want to be the best nurse you possibly can. Okay, so just know you got it. Enjoy the journey. Create a little playlist to help you keep going. Every time you complete a class or a prerequisite, write down the grade that you got. Check it off a checklist. Like, I used to literally have this bulletin board, and I still have it. I have a bulletin board for with my nursing school's calculation sheet. And every time I would finish a semester or complete a class that was required for me to get in, I would highlight it, put the grade I got, and say, okay, 4 more classes. Next semester, okay, cool, 3 more classes. Like, I would literally, that would help motivate me, because I'm like, wow, I'm really doing it. I'm really checking these things off. So whatever you have to do to keep yourself motivated, just know it'll be worth it. You'll get that acceptance letter. You will get into the school, the nursing school of your dreams, and everything is gonna work out, okay? Just don't give up. You're not a quitter or a failure. You're not a failure unless you quit. And we're not quitters over here. Baby, we see it all the way through. So I really hope you guys enjoyed these tips. I wish everyone the best of luck. I have a feeling that if you're watching this, you probably are just looking for some advice or tips, or you're current in your nursing prerequisites and you're just looking for some advice, and I just want to let you know you got it. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just want to leave you guys with words of encouragement that it's not going to be easy, but it's definitely going to be worth it. This is just the beginning. The prerequisites, honestly, are to test you, to see if you really want this. And if you do, you're gonna get the grades and do what you gotta do to pass and get into that program. So love you guys. I'll see you guys in my very next video, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you haven't already. I'll see you in my next one.